Hello, good morning. Police have raided Andrew Tate's home in Romania as new allegations emerge involving minors. Well, Sky's Sabah Chowdhury has more for us. Sabah, what can you tell us?
Well, dozens of masked officers from Romania's anti-organised crime agency have raided Andrew Tate's home this morning. They say that they have searched 4 homes, and this is in and around Bucharest, investigating allegations of human trafficking, the trafficking of minors, sexual intercourse with a minor, influencing statements and money laundering. Now, responding to these claims, Tate's spokesperson, Tate has said, although the charges in the search warrant are not yet fully clarified, they include suspicions of human trafficking and money laundering, adding that his legal team have been present the entire time. But what's interesting, and this must be stressed, is that Tate's spokesperson did not address.
Hello, good morning. Police have raided Andrew Tate's home in Romania as new allegations emerge involving minors. Well, Sky's Sabah Chowdhury has more for us. Sabah, what can you tell us?
Well, dozens of masked officers from Romania's anti-organised crime agency have raided Andrew Tate's home this morning. They say that they have searched 4 homes, and this is in and around Bucharest, investigating allegations of human trafficking, the trafficking of minors, sexual intercourse with a minor, influencing statements and money laundering. Now, responding to these claims, Tate's spokesperson, Tate has said, although the charges in the search warrant are not yet fully clarified, they include suspicions of human trafficking and money laundering, adding that his legal team have been present the entire time. But what's interesting, and this must be stressed, is that Tate's spokesperson did not address the allegation specifically involving minors. Now, the 37-year-old former kickboxer is already on trial for human trafficking, for rape, and for forming a criminal gang to sexually exploit women, charges that he repeatedly denies to his almost 10 million followers that he's amassed on the social media platform X, saying that prosecutors have absolutely no evidence against him.
Yes, as they say, second time, a charm. Well, Mr. Andrew Tate, there's so much to uncover here, so we're going to get into it.
Ooh, you are listening to the Billy Flint Experience.
Thank you so much for joining me once again. This is the Billy Flynn Experience, coming to you live here from Germany. I am your host, Billy Flint. This is breaking news. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Andrew Tate, the oh so enigmatic social media, I don't know, call him whatever, but this is the second time his home has been raided by the Romanian police. And as we had at the top of the podcast here, excuse the little glitch there, I had hit the wrong button, but yes, it says that Andrew Tate's home has been raided for the second time by the Romanian police, and him and his brother has been taken in for questioning, and I don't know, as Cat Williams said earlier this year, that 2024 is going to be the year of truth. And as I said, the quote is, second time's a charm. And I think this is homeboy, him and his brother, Tristan Tate. They are going down. They, of course, they're only going to be held for like 24 hours. They're probably going to be released, but there is definitely a reasoning behind the fact that they are taken in for the second time. And I don't know. I gotta say that Andrew Tate has a big mouth. He doesn't know when to just keep his mouth shut, and he tends to stir up the hornet's nest when he gets onto social media, the platforms. For instance, the platform X, which used to be Twitter. About a week ago, maybe it was 2 weeks ago, he was shooting off his mouth about the riots that has been going on over in England in connection with the stabbing of the 3 young girls. And incidentally, the riots have been taking place because of that. And of course, the immigration problems that they're having over in the UK. But Andrew had went on to X to spew misinformation saying that the perpetrator in the stabbing was a gentleman from the Middle East, or a Muslim, or some immigrant from the Middle East. He wasn't a citizen of the UK, which was wrong because once the news came out, it was proven that it was indeed a young man who was from England. And of course, Piers Morgan did an interview with Andrew Tate, in which Andrew Tate, it took them the complete, and of course this interview is on YouTube if you want to research this, but of course Piers Morgan, it took them almost the complete hour, an hour or so of the interview, in which Andrew Tate finally came out and said that he was wrong. And he apologized for spreading misinformation. And that's what the problems tend to be with this character that he is playing, that he tends to just shoot off. He just tends to run his mouth. And now it's subtly catching up to him and the reasoning behind these raids on his home. But interestingly enough, in which I've often wondered, is why Candace Owens, another social media personality, why is it that this woman tends to, I don't know, championing his rhetoric, giving him a platform to speak as if, they're strange bedfellows, I have to say. I guess they have this unique relationship where she uses him for views because he's such a controversial figure. And of course, Andrew Tate has been trying to clean up his persona over the past couple of years, with him, of course, running to Dubai once he was actually taken to jail a couple of years ago. Or was it last year? I'm not sure. But he was taken to jail. Him and his brother was taken to jail on the first raid of this home, in which they seized computers and other electronic gadgets to investigate the claims of trafficking and other allegations. Once that took place, of course, once the heat got turned up and he was finally out of jail, he ran to Dubai and he adopted the Muslim faith. And now he is, quote unquote, a Muslim. As if that's going to help clean up his persona. Now he's a good guy, but there's too much information. There's too, as everyone knows that the internet, once it's on the internet, is on the internet forever. He's never going to be able to scrub the information and the things that he has said in the past pertaining to his lifestyle and how he attained his riches, I would say. But the thing is, the latest interview with Candace Owens, which is also on YouTube, you can research that. And of course, I always come with information, so I have myself covered about what I'm saying here. And the interesting thing of this, again, is that Candace Owens seems to kind of put him out on this pedestal of trying to help clean up his persona. In the last interview in which she had him on her show on YouTube, and he was able to explain, which was pretty much the same thing. I think he was on her show maybe, I don't know, maybe 4, 5 different times. But this latest one was really pretty much saying the same thing as he said before, and how he's accepted Islam, and the Matrix is after him, and the government is basically a lot of false rhetoric that he normally talks. But from this raid of his home, and of course the last time because I did watch the interview, because I was really interested in wanting to know, after I seen the Pierce Morgan interview, I wanted to see what he had to say. And once I watched the complete interview with Candace Owens, I just kept asking myself, what is the purpose? Why does she always seem to come out and put him like on this pedestal as a great guy? She has been quoted as saying that he's a great person, that she doesn't believe any of the allegations. So I'm thinking, like, okay, why is it? So I of course I had to do some digging, and I got something here I want to play.
I saw you did the podcast you did with Andrew Tate was like one of the most entertaining, greatest podcasts ever.
Yeah, how was that?
It was great. Yeah.
So you went to went
to Bucharest. Yeah, I went there July. Yeah, it's like, wow, pretty recently. Now I'm thinking about it. It was freaking hot, man.
What did you think of him overall?
So I knew Andrew, my husband.
Okay. I have to stop it right there. She slipped up, and when she said, and which is, all of this started making sense. And of course, this particular clip was maybe almost a year ago, I would say. She was on someone else's podcast, and again, she was talking about one of the interviews where she and Andrew Tate was talking about the first allegations, the first time he was arrested. But she slipped up and she said something about my husband. And I was like, okay, her husband? What does that have to do with anything? So again, I had to start digging, and what I uncovered is pretty shocking, with the fact that her husband goes by the name of George Farmer. And of course, George Farmer and Andrew Tate are very, very close friends. Now, I have to say this. Candace Owens, she needs to be rethinking her steps at this point, because when Andrew Tate and his brother goes down, she and her husband is going to be closely connected to these allegations. And I say that to say this. From the information that I have obtained, I'm going to dive in a little here. Who is this George Farmer? Okay, well, he's a British national. He's a businessman. Interestingly enough, there's not a lot on the internet about him, but still, I had put a lot of references together, so this is what I've obtained. Again, he keeps a pretty low profile, so there's not like there's a Wikipedia or really anything else going deep into who he is. But briefly, he is a businessman. He once served as the CEO of Parler, which was, at the time, it was an inactive conservative social media platform, kind of like at the time, kind of like Twitter. Before, I would say, it was right before Elon Musk took over and changed over to X, which he wanted that platform to be more of an open platform for free speech. So George Farmer, Candace Owens' husband, had this platform which he started up called Parler. And again, this ties into Trump and what took place on January 6th, what is known as the January 6th Capitol riot, which took place in, was it 2020? His platform allegedly was behind or was used to coordinate that riot. So you have Donald Trump, which is tied into this conservative platform. Incidentally, this is the same platform, which is, I just learned, Kanye West, he goes by the name of Ye now, was the individual that was supposed to buy that platform and to jumpstart it as an alternative platform for free speech. But of course, because of what happened January 6th, it was actually taken off all of the major platforms, all the major apps. So they basically just kind of like it dissolved. So it didn't really do much. But again, taking that information and plugging that information in, it gets deeper. And I'm going to play the rest of this audio, which it goes in a little bit deeper.
I had met him one time before, prior to that, which is crazy because he wasn't this huge. Well, he was big in the UK, but he wasn't big in America, and he's just gone way more international now. It's amazing to see. And I knew going into it that we were going to have a good conversation, because I'm not one of these people that ever wants to sit someone down for a gotcha interview. I was fascinated by Andrew Tate because of the power that he's acquired. You know, this is a person who's being banned in UK schools.
You and Candace went to Romania with Andrew Tate. Candace interviewed Andrew Tate.
Long time.
I know, it's been a very long time.
You've known Andrew Tate for a number of years. You were just with him for that interview.
Yeah, I've known Andrew for many, many years. I've known Andrew since before Andrew was Andrew. You know what I mean? I've known Andrew since before he was famous, I guess. Andrew is a great guy. He really is, and he's a wonderful guy in many ways. Like all humans, he's flawed.
As I was having this dinner with my husband and his friend, Andrew Tate was there. I had no idea who he was. This is kind of before he really took off on the internet. I had my assistant at the time with me, who happened to be Romanian. She's born in Romania, speaks Romanian, happened to have been in the United States. She spent a lot of the time that we were there talking to him. She comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania.
I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense.
I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania.
By taking girls who didn't know how to be effective on webcam, girls who had never done webcam before, girls who didn't have the equipment, didn't have the know-how, didn't have the will, didn't have the premises, didn't have the ability to make money with this exchange.
Off camera, I think he would be the first person to admit that. Like, he's a flawed human being.
I created a system that allowed me to convince girls to do this, allowed me to retain 100% control of their income. I know how to make sure the girl can't run away.
I know Andrew pretty well, and as I said, I know that he's full of flaws.
Okay, there you have it. That was her husband, George Farmer, speaking on their friendship, and he stated that he knew Andrew Tate before he was Andrew Tate, which means that he was pretty aware of the antics of what Andrew Tate was about, what he was doing, his chicanery. So you have this character, or this individual, which is Candace Owens' husband. Again, he's a citizen of Great Britain. He's British. I don't know. I think there's a difference between an English and a British individual, as they say. But it's interesting that Candace Owens chooses this individual as her husband. Of course, as most women of that caliber, she marries up. She's hypergamous. And she chose wisely, because George Farmer, again, citizen of Britain, British. He's a British businessman, which keeps a low profile. But so we have to look deeper. So I wanted to know, pretty much, since he's doesn't have much on the internet, but there's enough to track his family. So his father's name is Michael Stahel Farmer, or Baron Farmer. And his nickname is Mr. Cooper. So we're going to remember that. Mr. Cooper. So that was pretty much of interest to me. And of course, his father, Michael Farmer, or Baron Farmer, he's a treasurer of the Conservative Party and a life peer in the House of Lords. Okay, so we're gonna look up the word or the name peer. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Peer. I don't know. Some of the words in Great Britain, I don't know, it could be per or pair, but I'm just going to say peer. So anyways, I'm going through his Wikipedia page. And of course, life peer or per. So what it is it's in the United Kingdom, life pers are appointed member of the peerage. You can't make this. You can't make this up. So it says appointed member of the peerage whose title cannot be inherited. In contrast to hereditary pers, life pers are appointed by the monarch on the advice of the prime minister, with the exceptions of the Dukedom of Edinburgh, awarded for life to Prince Edward in 2023. All life peerages conferred since 2009 have been created under the Life Peerages Act 1958 with the rank of baron, entitled their holders to sit and vote in the House of Lords. So that's where he got the baron from. So again, his name, his father's name is Michael Farmer, but he goes by Baron Farmer. Of course, that is a title. And within that title, it says, presuming they meet qualifications such as age and citizenship. So you have to be a citizen of the UK or the citizen of England. It says the legitimate children of a life peer appointed under the Life Peerage Act of 1958 are entitled to style themselves with the prefix the Honorable. Although they cannot inherit the peerage itself prior to 2009, life peers or baronal rank could also be so created under the Appellate Jurisdiction Act of 1876. Okay, blah, 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 blah. So, apparently, Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer, comes from a good pedigree, as they say. A good pedigree. Has a good family background. So again, Candace Owens, she positioned herself, and of course, they had a child. So she's locked in by marriage. So it all pretty much came to an understanding that the reason why she's, as they say, caping for Andrew Tate is because of the fact her husband and Andrew Tate are good friends. But I say that, Candace, if you're listening, you need to distance yourself from this because it's about to get messy. She needs to distance herself from Andrew Tate like Bill Clinton did with Mr. Epstein. And that's all I have to say. Because it's this second arrest or the second raid of his home, of Andrew Tate's home, they're definitely, I would say within another 6 months to a year, he's going down. And he's gonna pull all his close associates right along with him. So we're going to keep an eye on this. This is going to get very, very interesting. It's going to get very, very, very interesting. So we definitely going to keep, or I'm going to definitely keep an eye on this, because this is very, very interesting. Once you start putting all the dots together, you start connecting the dots. And like I said before, you can't make this stuff up. This is really, 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 really crazy. That it's almost like a 6 degrees of separation going on. And it seems as though when it comes to trafficking and those so-called crimes, when it's involving children or when it's involving underage, both male and female, it runs rampant in England. And it runs rampant in the monarchy. What was the gentleman's name with who was friends with Epstein? Prince Andrew? We haven't heard anything from him. They pretty much packaged him up and shipped him off somewhere. He's in hiding. Haven't heard anything from him. So these allegations run rampant. And none of this is surprising to me. But again, you can't make this stuff. So as I said before, I'm going to keep an eye on this. And I'm going to do more studying. And I'm going to do more research. And possibly do another podcast. Not really because I dislike Andrew Tate. But I'm not a fan. I was never a fan. I never believed any of his rhetoric. And I think he's a dangerous individual that thinks he can get away with his antics. And I'm not really a Candace Owens fan. But it is what it is. So we're going to keep an eye on this. So thank you so much for joining me here at the Billy Flint Experience. I am Billy Flynn. You coming live here from Germany. Wish everyone a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there. And we will talk again soon. Have a great evening or morning.
Go on, you've got another 5 seconds. Say something outrageous.
You dirty bastard.
Go on, again.
You dirty fucker.
What a clever boy.
What a fucking rotter.
Well, that's it for tonight.